All right, final balance manifesto. This one's about curses. Now, I never really use curses. Every now and then I get a curse on hit ring. Sometimes I use a curse as an aura, but that's extremely rare. And this reason right here is the reason I never really use curses. Hidden monster penalty against curses has been removed. Now, curses never really worked on the big high-end bosses. They didn't work very well at all, even with increased curse effects. So I never really used curses. I used marks, but not curses. Curses just never been in my wheelhouse. I never really gave a fuck about them. Never really needed them. Now, the people that use curses are like the min-maxers, and that ain't me. Another thing that always bothered me was trying to find a curse on hit ring because those sons of bitches were so expensive. So hopefully those rings are cheaper now that they've been nerfed. And hopefully they're less mandatory. But hidden penalties being removed is great because now you can actually hard cast a curse on a boss and it will actually do something. That covers the same thing. The Doom mechanic. Never used it. Looked like it was too much work, and now it's gone. So sometimes it's good to never use something. The occultist ascendancy has a little bit of its power removed. It's not really going to make that much of a difference. I don't think the curse aspect of the occultist was the main reason people were playing. That was just a nice to have. I think occultist is going to be perfectly fine. Enfeeble and temporal chains have been buffed. That's good. I've never used either. To aid the above changes, some less accessible sources of curse effect have been removed. This also acts as a nerf to Hex support builds. Okay, I don't know if that was a problem, but sure. Hex gems have been rebalanced with the goal of ensuring that self-cast remains relevant compared to automatic cast curse application. Sure. I don't really like either. I don't really like applying a curse or automatic curse application. I don't really like either. But if I had to pick, the automatic is better. One downside I see to this is now the builds that have the least amount of engagement, like a minion build or a righteous fire build, are now going to benefit even more from the changes made to the game. Or I already feel like minion builds and righteous fire and any build where you just kind of don't do damage constantly. You apply something, it does damage, you run around. Those are just going to get even stronger. While builds that have been struggling, like let's say a Cyclone Impale build, are going to get weaker. Only by proxy of other builds. So I don't know how I feel about that one. We'll have to see when it's launched. Buffed a bunch of hex related uniques. That's fine. Added some powerful new uniques to interact with hexes. Now I never really used curses, as I said already. I probably still won't use curses, so this does not matter to me. But there is possibly some interest in a curse. If I happen to find this ring, I might do a 6-link Bane curse build, doing 4 curses. Well, I can do 5 curses with Bane. Yeah, Bane plus 5 curses. I just gotta find the right cursives. Cursives. The right cursives. I'm just gonna keep saying it instead of curses. I'm gonna say cursives. The right cursives to use with that 6-link. Looks like they're nerfing vulnerability and despair. Those two were 2 of the best curses, so that's probably good to nerf those 2. A lot of times they could work together too. If you use in a bleed build, you can do both of those curses. Yeah, that's I wasn't really expecting, like, to me this wasn't that big of a deal, especially when compared to the current state of melee. So the fact that they would touch hexes before they touched melee seems a little weird to me. Doing something about Nightblade and making, attack builds, specifically strike skills, stronger seemed like a higher priority. But I guess not. Maybe they'll cover them both in there. This ring could be pretty awesome with a little bit of power charges. Let's take a look at some of these curses. I'm not sure. Curse POE. I'm not sure which curses you could really do. Obviously, these elemental ones, you can do a double. You can do elemental weakness with any of the conduit, frostbite, flammability. You can try to do an awkward triple element or double element. So you can do 2 of these plus elemental weakness. And you can always throw in Chimp Chains, and you can always throw in Enfeeble. Is there another one? Is there like a vulnerability? Enfeeble, Temp Chains. Punishment. Punishment can be on any build. And that's it. So these 3 are kind of universal. You can put these 3 on anything. So these are guaranteed 3 of the curses I would use in my 6 links. And I need 2 other curses. The most simple would just be vulnerability and despair. Vulnerability and despair. Despair increase the damage over time. Vulnerability will increase physical damage. You can either do a Reap or Exsanguinate build or a Blade Vortex build. Puncture, you could do a Puncture Bow Bleed build with this. So it is pretty interesting. And then you can use a mark as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be in your 6th link with Bane. So you hit Bane, and then you also drop a mark on them. So you need to get 7 power charges to get 7 curses. So it could be, there could be an extremely interesting build here. The problem with that is it's only going to be getting this benefit mostly on big bosses. We'll see. It could be interesting. A 6-link Puncture Bow build does seem like it would benefit a lot from this. Slows the enemies down, you do more physical damage, you do more damage over time. It is opening up some interesting builds with this ring, but like all things Path of Exile, I'm guessing this ring is going to be extremely rare, and nobody's going to see it. And by nobody, I mean no normals like me. No normies. +2 to the level of socketed curse gems, supported by level 22 blasphemy. Don't really know. I think blasphemy makes it an aura, if I'm not mistaken. Reservation efficiency. A triple curse aura could be pretty rad. Or in this case, you can even do a 4 curse aura. That could be pretty excellent. A 4 curse aura. Aura stackers might be back in business with this helmet here. Has good evasion and energy shield. Aura stackers might be in business. So if I get this ring, this helmet's probably going to be extremely common, but this ring, not so much. If I get this ring, I will probably build some type of aura stacker. Not exactly sure how I'll do it. I'll probably use a physical skill and do fire and cold and do added physical damage as fire, added physical damage as cold with wrath and anger, and then use flammability, elemental weakness, and frostbite, along with the enfeebled Temp Chains punishment. So that could be a pretty good one. Probably go an ascendant for the class. That'll be interesting, but I'm not planning on it because this is probably going to be expensive. It seems pretty fucking good. Not gonna lie. Not going to lie. But I wonder how nerfed. They say they're gonna nerf. Nerf non-casting curses. I wonder if that's going to count for curses that are casted as auras. rebalance with the goal of ensuring self-cast remains relevant compared to automatic curse applications. I don't think that's going to count curse auras. So I think curse auras might be pretty good. For the most part, this Balance Manifesto doesn't really impact me at all. It's an excellent change, I think, because it's going to tune down the really high-end players. And the reason it's good to tune down the high-end players is there's a huge power differential between the casuals and the high-end players. And in my opinion, the more you close that gap, the better. So we don't want it to be super easy for people to hit 40 million DPS if they use very specific techniques like curse on hit rings, multi-curse, a bunch of things that are not quite available to the casual players because of their cost prohibitiveness. So reducing the effect of these really high-end build power modifiers is a very good thing, in my opinion. Now, if you're a high-end player, you shouldn't be too angry about it either, because they're unlocking an even more powerful strategy instead of curse on hit to just manually cast curses. So even the high-end players might be seeing a benefit here. So I don't know. It's difficult to say. We'll see how it turns out. I really don't think this is going to be... This is kind of a nothing burger change, in my opinion, with except for the fact that I think there's going to be a curse build that is created. There's not really a curse build now. It's kind of a curse build, but it's nothing special. There might be a kind of special or a stacker curse build that is created out of this, especially with the gym changes that are going to reduce efficiency. So you might be able to do some kind of ascendant with a bunch of efficiency. We'll see. It'll be interesting. That'll be an expensive build and not a league starter. That is all for the consumer. I am super excited for the next league, 3.2. Very excited for it. I'll be gone most of the early December and back up probably right around the patch notes release time, and I'll be making videos for the patch notes. That is all.